discuss about the chapter life process. Life process. Have you ever thought why the human beings called as living, whereas the table, chair, board which are around you are called as non-living? There are some features which differentiate living organisms from non-living organisms. One such feature is life processes. Let's discuss and let's see what are these life processes. The various processes which are necessary to sustain life on this earth are called as life processes. Let us list few of them: nutrition, excretion, respiration, and digestion. These processes differentiate living organisms from non-living organisms. Let us discuss about nutrition. Do you know what is the process of eating food called as? It is called as nutrition. All organisms do not eat the same thing, so there cannot be one mode of nutrition. There are three modes of nutrition, which are autotrophic mode of nutrition, heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and saprophytic mode of nutrition. Let's discuss about autotrophic mode of nutrition. Auto means self. So, the organisms which can prepare their own food are called as autotrophs, and this mode of nutrition is called as autotrophic mode of nutrition. For example, green plants, they can produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Let us see how the photosynthesis occurs in green plants. For photosynthesis, plants require sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. They obtain carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water through the roots, and sunlight from the sun. They also require the presence of a green pigment which is called as the chlorophyll. This chlorophyll is present in all the green plants. What is the end product of this process? Yes, it's obviously food, but this food is produced in the form of a glucose, which has to be converted into starch. Along with food, plants also produce oxygen, which is a byproduct for them, but it is the most important thing for us to survive on this earth. Let's see about nutrition in human beings. Alimentary canal. It is a long tube which connects the mouth to the anus. We eat food which is in the complex form. So this complex food has to be broken down into simpler form, and this breakdown of food is called as digestion. Let's see how the digestion starts. It starts in the mouth itself. The teeth which are present in the oral cavity chew the food and help it to break down into simpler pieces. These simpler pieces are then mixed with the saliva which is secreted from the salivary glands in our mouth. So, the food mixed with the saliva is called as the bolus. Tongue helps in this mixing of saliva with the food. After the bolus, the food passes on to the esophagus, which is also called as the food pipe. The regular contraction and relaxation, which is also called as the peristalsis, help in the movement of food from the esophagus to the stomach. Stomach is a large organ which expands when the food enters into it. The muscular wall of the stomach secretes many digestive juices which help in the digestion of food. It releases three things: hydrochloric acid, pepsin, and mucus. Hydrochloric acid is a mild acid which helps in killing the bacteria which enters the alimentary canal along with the food. Pepsin, it helps in the breakdown of proteins. Mucus, it helps in protecting the inner walls of the organ. From the stomach, the food enters into the small intestine, which is the longest part of our alimentary canal. It receives bile juice from the liver, which help in the emulsification of the fats. Pancreas release various pancreatic juices, which contains many enzymes. Trypsin and lipase are some of the enzymes which help in the breakdown of proteins and lipids respectively. The passing of digested food into the bloodstream is called as absorption. The small intestine consists of various finger-like projections called as villi, which increase the surface area for the absorption of food. All the undigested food enters the large intestine, where the most of the water is absorbed and the undigested food is thrown out of the body by the process of egestion. Let's discuss about our next life process, which is respiration. Can you live without air? No. You inhale and you exhale. You usually don't think so much while doing it. You take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. But there is a long process which is involved in this. So let's go to the journey of breathing and respiration. Let's see how the human respiratory system looks like. The human respiratory system is protected safe inside a bony covering called as the rib cage. The primary organs of breathing, which are the lungs, are 2 in number. The journey of respiration begins from the nostrils. We have 2 nostrils, which leads to the nasal passage. From the nasal passage, the air passes on to the pharynx. This pharynx is a common passage for food and air. From the pharynx, the air goes to the larynx, which is also called as the voice box. After the larynx, we have trachea. This trachea is also called as the windpipe, which branches into 2 bronchi. These bronchi divides further and forms the bronchioles, which leads into a small alveolar sacs. The alveolar sacs are surrounded by blood capillaries which help in the exchange of the gases. Let's discuss about the second life process, which is transportation in humans. Blood is the fluid connective tissue which helps in transporting all the substances in our body. Do you know the components of blood and its functions? Let's see the components of blood. The blood consists of 2 components, fluid component and the cellular component. The fluid component includes the plasma, in which all the cellular components are suspended, whereas the cellular component consists of the RBCs, which are the red blood cells, WBCs, which are the white blood cells, and the platelets, which are also called as thrombocytes. Now you know that the blood helps in the transportation. But what does it transports? It helps in the transportation of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, wastes such as the nitrogenous waste and the salts. Human heart. Our heart beats continuously and keeps you alive 24/7. It does so much of work but never gets tired. Why so? Heart is a muscular organ which is as big as our fist. It has 2 sides and 4 chambers which does not allow the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. These 4 chambers act as the partition which will never allow the mixing of blood and easy flow of blood. Now let us see the step-by-step process involved in the pumping of blood. All the deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body is brought about by the superior and inferior vena cava to the right atrium. Contraction of right atrium leads to the flow of blood into the right ventricle. From here, the deoxygenated blood passes through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. From the lungs, after oxygenation, the blood comes through the pulmonary vein to the left auricle. Contraction of left auricle causes the blood to pass to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood is reached to all parts of our body. All the 4 walls of the chambers are not same. Do you know why? The ventricles have to pump the blood to all parts of the body. So, because of that, they have thicker walls than the atria. Heart in some other animals. Fishes have 2-chambered heart, whereas the amphibians and the reptiles have 3-chambered heart. We humans have 4-chambered heart, and the blood passes through our heart twice. And this is the reason the circulation in our body is called as the double circulation. Once it is the deoxygenated blood, and second time it is the oxygenated blood which is passing through our heart. Blood vessels. The blood flows through a narrow tube-like structures which are called as blood vessels. There are 3 types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Let us see the differences between these 3. Artery, thick-walled. Vein, thin-walled. Capillaries are thin-walled. Arteries carry blood from the heart to other parts of the body. Veins carry blood from different organs to the heart. Capillaries are involved in the exchange of food material, respiratory gases and body wastes. Arteries are situated deeper under the skin, whereas veins are present superficially. They are present just under the skin. Capillaries occur at the terminals of the arteries and the veins. Platelets. You all know the function of RBCs, that they have hemoglobin which gives red color to our blood. Whereas WBCs also have a function of fighting against the diseases or the germs which enter our body. Then what is the function of the platelets? Now think about a situation where you get injured. You bleed, but that bleeding is not forever. It stops. How does it stop? It stops because of the formation of a clot which involves the cells called as the platelets. So, platelets help in the clotting mechanism of our blood. Lymph. You must be wondering that we have only blood as the transporting liquid? No, we have another liquid which is called as the tissue fluid or the lymph, which also acts as the transporting medium. Through the pores present in the blood capillaries, some amount of plasma, proteins and the blood cells escapes into the tissue fluid or the intercellular spaces. This forms the lymph. Lymph is a colorless liquid which contains less number of proteins. Transportation in plants. Humans have a specific circulatory system which helps in the transportation, whereas there is no as such transportation system present in plants. But there are many things which should be transported in plants. So let us see how does this transportation happens. Transportation of water takes place through the vascular elements called as xylem. At roots, cells take up ions actively. This creates a difference in the roots and the soil. So, the water moves from the roots to the soil to eliminate this difference. However, this movement cannot occur at a greater height. So, for that we have a transpiration process. This transpiration process allows the water to move upward to a greater heights. Transpiration is the loss of water from the leaves through the special pores called as stomata. Transportation of food. Plants synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis. This food has to be transported to all the parts of the plant body, and this occurs with the help of vascular tissue called as phloem. The movement of food in the plant is bidirectional. That means it happens upwards and the downwards, whereas the movement of water is always from the roots to the other parts of the body, which is towards the up. Let's discuss about our next life process, which is excretion. The metabolic waste produced in our body are very harmful for us. So, the process of removal of these metabolic waste by our body is called as excretion. Let us see how does this excretion occurs in human beings. Human excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. We all excrete urine, but do you know what is this urine made up of? How is it produced? Urine is a waste which largely consists of urea. This urea is a nitrogenous waste. The main function of kidneys is to purify the blood containing urea. This purification of blood happens with the help of small units called as nephrons. These nephrons are the basic structural and the functional unit of kidneys. Let us see the structure and the function of each part of it. Nephron consists of a tuft of capillaries called as glomerulus. Glomerulus is enclosed inside a cup-shaped structure called as Bowman's capsule. From there, the PCT and the DCT are present. PCT stands for proximal convoluted tubule, whereas the DCT stands for distal convoluted tubule. From the PCT and DCT, the urine passes through the collecting duct. After getting filtered from the kidneys, this urine passes through the ureter to the urinary bladder. Ureters are the tube-like structures which carry the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. The urine is stored temporarily in the urinary bladder, and when that pouch is completely filled, the urine is thrown out of the body through the urethra. Artificial kidney or hemodialysis. What happens when both the kidneys stop working? We have to go for artificial kidney or hemodialysis. This is a process where the blood is filtered and the nitrogenous wastes are removed from the body. The blood is made to pass through a dialysing unit which consists of dialysing fluid. After the purification by the process of diffusion, the blood is made to pass through the body again. Normally in a healthy adult, the initial filtrate produced in the kidneys is about 180 liters, but only 2 liters of the urine is excreted daily from our body. Why is this so? Because the rest of the liquid is reabsorbed by the kidney tubules. Excretion in plants. Plants do not have a complex excretory system like we do. Then how do they get rid of that waste? They also have some mechanisms to release their body wastes. They can get rid of the excess water through the process of transpiration. The oxygen, which is a byproduct for them of the process photosynthesis, is released out through the pores called as stomata. The extra waste is also stored in the leaves, which ultimately fall off. And some other wastes are stored in the form of resins and gums. So in this chapter, we studied a few of life processes which helps human beings to sustain life on this earth. Also, these life processes differentiate living organisms from the non-living ones.